views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Doing It with Styles. Thanks for coming back this week. We appreciate your support here at WWDB.TV. And I got a really special treat for you today. I have my friend Charlie Siva here.
Siva.
Charlie, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here.
So let's get right to it. You are basically in the process of putting together a new sports show. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And I mean, there's a lot of sports shows out there. Why, what made you come up with, what made you want to do that? And what's the focus going to be?
Absolutely not a problem. Well, you know, I have coached Little League football,
Okay.
basketball, and I also coach high school football, basketball as well, and,
Okay.
and some softball. And I'm a coach. I like to get involved in sports, especially with a youth group.
Gotcha.
You know, although I've coached semi-pro football here local in Las Vegas,
Right.
for the Lions, but I like to gear towards because
So you worked with Jeff Belknap and Bill Miller,
I have, yeah. They were the owners of our
Las Vegas Lions.
Las Vegas Lions.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
correct. Semi-pro football team. So, and I want to do something for the community. That's
Right.
why I was thinking about it. You know, I've been praying about it for our community, not only our community but our world.
Right.
I'm thinking that anybody can help. They say, well, the world's too big. No, we can do. If you can do a little something for but I want to base on the community, high school, possibly Little League, and maybe some of the local players that have played NFL or professional sports that aren't back in town,
Gotcha.
or somewhere around the world.
So your focus is going to be more on local sports and what's going on here, and that level rather than the NFL, WNBA, or NBA, or a little bit of that. Is that am I understanding
That is correct. That's
Okay.
that's for the moment. Yes, that's what
Okay.
I want to do right now at this time. Focus on the local art community.
Right.
But then eventually, it's a long-term goal to go throughout the world.
Of course.
As far as possibly, I'm an islander. Possibly, maybe do an island sports special around the United States and around the world.
That'd be awesome.
I've been thinking it's a dream. It's a goal. It came out, but a couple years ago, maybe 5 years. Thought about it, just go around islanders, Tongans, Samoans, Hawaiian, all the Guamanian,
Right.
and then just interview them.
Wait. What'd you call them? Guamanians?
Guamanian,
Is that what
Chamorro, Guam.
Oh, okay.
Chamorro.
I never knew what they were called.
Yeah,
I have friends from Guam, and I just
Right.
thought
But they know by
Yeah.
Chamorro.
Chamorro.
Yeah,
okay.
they're the brothers. So looking at all
Well, maybe
over.
you can get The Rock to help.
That's right. Maybe I can get the Rock to help. That's
Yeah.
correct. I've been told I look like the Rock, but that's okay. I mean, we all.
I've
look
been told
kinda
that too.
like-
Yeah.
You too? That's right. I don't gotta do the eye thing. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? That's fantastic. But yes, absolutely. I wanted to give to the community. I've been in Vegas for about 20 years.
Oh wow.
I got involved Little League, middle school, high school, and semi-pro.
Right.
I still have kids that call me, and hey, Coach Siva for help, or Uncle Charlie.
Right.
That matter. So I've been here for that long, and I want to help. I want to help the community.
So what did you like best when you were coaching the kids?
Oh.
What part of that did you really enjoy more than anything else?
The opportunity to teach, to coach, because some of these kids, they haven't get a chance to hear a positive or motivational, input in
Right.
their lives. For example, that you can be whatever you want to be. I'm sure this is a daily thing you can hear, but to the personal level, I like that when I teach the kids how to tackle, teach the kids with the footwork.
Right.
The basic fun. It feels good when I see them. When I see them repeat the what I'm teaching them.
Right.
It feels really good. And me as a coach, I think it's a natural gift, talent, ability that God gave me. Because I can coach. You put me in front of anybody. Doesn't matter what level, Little League, high school, college, pro. I will be able to perform because it's a gift. It's not something and I love coaching.
I understand.
So teaching is basic, and I was a teacher too as well for Cimarron High School here local
Oh,
in
wow.
town.
Cool.
Exactly.
What'd you teach?
First year was I was a substitute teacher, but I had a full year. First was traffic education.
Oh, okay.
The whole year for Coach Spencer, late Coach Spencer, done some great things
Right.
for the Cimarron High School, and also I was in-house the whole year for the in-house. and a business math. It was my for the seniors.
Oh, cool.
One of the years. And then, of course, I coached football and basketball with Coach Boyack and Coach Vallin at the time.
And I think that, speaking of that, the business and the business math is an area where a lot of athletes run into trouble. And they're not taught early enough that that's part of, what they're doing is a business.
Exactly.
And they have to treat it as such, and they have to, I don't think that they are being taught or have been taught how to run their business. They're taught how to play, they're taught how to tackle, how to pass, how to, all of that, but I don't think there's enough focus on how do you, does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. And you know what? Basically what boils down to, since we're talking about teaching, boils down to budgeting.
Right.
It's a bottom line budgeting.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much money you make. You can make 50,000, 50 millions, but if you don't budget and do, you got to tell your money where to go.
Exactly.
It's just like telling your time where to go.
Exactly.
So it goes hand in hand with setting goals and budget.
Yes.
So if they get the basic fundamentals, I'm talking about draw a line in the middle.
Yeah.
Put income and
outgo.
expenses and
Yeah.
outgoing. It's very simple. If your expenses are higher than your income,
You're in trouble.
you're in trouble. So we can just, look at it. Some people just like, I avoid using the ATM.
Right.
That's part of budgeting, part of teaching. See, when your mind has all this money and all this stuff available, it's easy for you to use the ATM card and so forth. 20 years, 40 years, but that adds up.
Right.
And I've done it before. Don't get me wrong. We all do it. 80,
Sure.
I think 8 out of 10 people that live paycheck per paycheck,
Yep.
we all done it. So I guess to help other people, it's a basic math kind of class. Bottom line is budget.
Yeah.
Income and expenses. It's very simple. So if we can have something similar like that, since we're talking about teaching, we can teach that. We can start that maybe high school, because there's no such thing as budgeting in high school.
Yeah.
People don't do it. They don't
I think you need to start earlier, to be honest with you.
Or middle school. Exactly.
Once they get into middle school and because that's
you're right.
That's a change for them from traditional elementary school
Right.
until middle school or junior high, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It's a change in how they've been living their life.
Absolutely.
And it's a whole new world, and I think that that's a place that you need to start educating, not just as teachers or coaches or whatever, but as parents.
Right.
I think that's something that we have traditionally not taught our kids enough. I'm not saying, there are some that do, and that's great, and I think that gives their kids a little better chance or a head start, if you will,
Exactly.
if they have those skills. But yeah, it should be classes that are taught in school.
I think so.
We have math, we have auto shop, we have home economics, we have all this other stuff. Why not? How do you balance your checkbook? How do you set up a budget? What is a budget?
John, when I was in 8th grade in Seattle, Washington, I remember taking a class how to write checks.
Yeah.
So that's all I remember, how to write checks, write the line. That's why I'm good at writing checks. I don't know who's still writing checks nowadays. But
I
it
know.
was, you know what I mean?
Yes,
but
I
it
do.
was part of, that card that we use easily.
Right.
And it's part of what I've learned. So checks still available, but something similar like that. I'm thinking that reminds me of something that, I grew up in Seattle, Washington, low middle class,
Right.
nice area, Radiant Beach High School. And when they give me $1, nobody taught me how to, here's $1. Well, guess what I'm thinking? I'm spending the whole $1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So leading towards what we mentioned earlier, that $1, and I know the people that are the millionaires and the upperclassmen, the people that have businesses, I'm pretty sure they don't teach their kids, here's $1, spend $1.
Right.
And I read somewhere, I believe it was Jim Rohn, that said if to the rich, that they, their parents, when they give you $1, here's what you do, spend 70, 10% to a charity or
Right.
a church, 10% to invest in something on your
Right.
own, and 10% to invest in, maybe not 401k because it's too little, but
Right.
as an example. So 70% spend
Put
as
in your
much as you
piggy bank,
want.
yeah.
Exactly. And then 30%, 10% each way as a child.
Right.
Because I don't remember, nobody told me that.
Right.
But if we start from home or a community class, let alone even a middle school class where, something similar about the value of $1. we give you $1 because we spend it all the time.
Of course.
And all of us do. Even so,
Well, the problem is we get $1 and we spend $1.10.
that's what it is. And I'm it's correct.
Right.
Actually, we spend $1.20.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
I read somewhere,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
make 100,000, you spend 120. People
Yeah.
say that doesn't make it. Well, they call it credit cards. So,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm trying to stay away from. We all use credit cards, but the budget is bottom. I think if we can get some kind of class, and I don't mind doing that.
Right.
It's a basic, like we said earlier, draw a line.
Yeah.
Income, expenses.
Expenses, yeah.
Just to start, because they don't have that much like housing, expenses or vehicle expenses. But that's later on down. If they get a basic fundamentals of how the value of the dollar, because people say, "Oh, I'll wait till I make 10,000 or 1,000 so I can start doing the 10, 10,
Right.
10." Well, guess what? If you can't do it at $1, you can't do it at and
Exactly.
And that's some
Yeah,
of the things.
you've already developed two bad habits.
So that starts from little league to middle school to high school. By the time they get to a professional level, they have some kind of idea
Yeah.
what the value of the dollar is. I believe something. But if you grow up and make all this money, all these athletes, but they never had that experience. Oh, I've got millions coming. I got thousands coming. So therefore, when time comes,
Yeah.
well, guess what? Time will come.
Well,
You know?
it's they don't realize the value of money.
Exactly.
And that's, I think, where we've kind of fallen down a lot.
Exactly.
So let me switch this up a little bit. So you've
Sure.
told us what you like most about. What do you like least about coaching or teaching? What is the hardest thing that you kind of dread sometimes?
Good. I don't think I'll call it hardest. Or maybe a challenge.
Okay.
Is the word for it, because I'm a positive guy. I'm always look for solutions. I'm always want to help. Like it's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But the challenge. I think Little League is trying to get in the kids there, because when I was coaching Little League, I have to go pick up the children. I mean, well, sometimes they get there right, but I drop them all over Las Vegas.
Right.
Sometime when my son was in high school, I will go pick up my son. He won't wait. And then I'll go drop off the neighborhood kids and
Right.
then come back. I think that's the challenge right there. If they can have some kind of vehicle or someone that they can bring them so we can teach them as far as sports
Yeah.
or education or something to help them with I think that's the only challenge. As far as teaching and coaching, that's something that I think is a God gift given to me. I have no problem coaching. It's just bringing them or having them the opportunities. Sometimes they can't make it because they don't have any rides.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Or sometimes, people don't join the certain activities because of the the money they have to put in.
Right, the cost
sign up,
involved,
yeah,
yeah,
the sign up
right.
fee or the cost.
Right.
So that's the only challenge I have. If I can do a football team or a camp or something for free, because everything, then that will be something. But
Yeah.
obviously we all know that it takes money, it takes time, and then get a few groups
Well,
of
you
coaches.
got equipment, you got uniforms,
Equipment,
you got
exactly.
yeah.
That's just something you got to get first. If you don't have any equipment, you can't participate
Right.
or you can't teach. But as far as challenges, no, I don't have any. I can't recall anything because I've coached at different levels.
Right.
So that's the only thing. Is just getting the children there or the kids or the student athletes, so that way I can teach them, I can help them, and then dropping them off. So if we have some kind of, if you're listening out there, that, some kind of
Pay attention.
Yes, some kind of van or some kind. We can help the kids, and then of course to style with styles, and when that happens. If the situation occurs,
Yeah.
and then, you can help out. That's the only challenge I have, just bringing the kids, or, for that matter, high school kids in Little League, to practice.
There's what, if I remember correctly, there's something like 35 high schools here in town?
I believe so, yeah. It's been, because I think they're switching some high schools around. I mean, we grew up with the fastest growing school.
Right.
And,
I mean,
the
I
country.
remember when there was one.
What was
It was
that?
Las Vegas High School.
I was going to say Clark
And that
or
was
Las
it.
Vegas. Wow.
There was Las Vegas, and there was Clark, and then
Right.
Rancho.
In Rancho, of course,
Right.
yeah. Vegas,
But
yes.
there was one high school here. That was it, man. That was it. But
'Cause
that
I-
was. I'm really old. That was a long time ago.
Nah, well, that may be just a number, but I think it's more referred to Little League because it's after when they get off work.
Right.
Parents get off work or work over, because high school you're already in school.
Right.
They teach sports or after that. Even after that, sometimes we don't have transportation because of budget or what have you. But that's the only challenge. That's the only challenge that I have. Hey man, come on.
We're being interrupted by a passerby, so I hope you'll forgive us. So.
There he is. Hey, there he is. Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
So
good.
you never
Good
know
shit.
what's going to happen
See?
or who
Wow,
drops
here
in
we
on
go.
Doing It with Styles.
Come on
This
in.
is Dave and Charlie show.
This is
Yes.
Dave Gleason. Dave Gleason, you won the Golden Globes in
Golden Globe for
1918.
Yes, it was croquet. It was for playing croquet. And it was quite a scene. I did cheat though.
Yes, I figured you did.
Yeah. So what's going on? Where are we?
Well, we're trying to do a show here, but we were interrupted.
Okay.
I was just telling the people that Charlie Silva here is going to be doing a new sports show on
yeah.
WWDBTV.
All right,
And,
Charlie.
Yes.
And
yes.
we were talking about what kind of show it's going to be and some of the things that.
I think it's the Dave Gleason Star of the Hour show. I think was what.
Yeah, it was. That was a thought. That was a thought.
We need to do that.
It's in
we
your.
need to do the, we need to do the Dave Gleason Star of the Week.
Yeah, Star of the
There
Week.
you
That's
go,
what I
right.
thought
Yeah.
it was going to be.
That's
Okay.
what it was. Yeah. Superstar of the week.
Have a
And,
good show,
and
buddy.
for those of you who don't know, David is a local, I guess you could say local now, producer, director, filmmaker,
Bus driver.
a little bit of everything, and
And
hoping
I'm his
that,
bodyguard.
Yeah, that's his bodyguard. Rock wasn't available, so we got Charlie
That's right.
instead.
There we go.
Yeah, Charlie, I can be here for you. Yeah, okay, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Hey. Hey, you guys have a great show. Looking forward to it, buddy.
Yes.
All right.
See. All right,
All right,
Dave.
good
Dave,
seeing you.
thanks
Ladies
for
and
stopping
gentlemen,
by.
Thank
David
you.
See you
Gleason,
around the
right
campus.
here in the
Right.
flesh. All right.
Wait. What's the name?
The name,
The new name?
the new name, Power.
No. I'm giving you an opportunity to tell the name of your company.
Oh my gosh.
So you can get some free advertising.
Reveal Truth Productions.
And
Zateo Zhao. The film
Zateo
festival.
Zhao.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yes.
You're gonna be
Zateo
seeing a lot of
I
it.
didn't realize I was getting a plug, but thank you.
You're gonna be seeing a lot of that.
David Gleason.
You can go now, David.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Thank
All
you.
right.
That's a wrap.
See ya. Well,
And that's what I love about doing what I do here,
Right.
because you never know what's going to happen, who's going to pop by, and how it's going to turn out. So we're going to get back to Charlie here because he's the star of the hour now. I know that when we talked a little bit before, when you were first talking about doing this, is sports is not going to be the only focus of the show. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Okay, so why
That's
don't you
correct.
fill us in a little bit on what else you're going to be throwing into the mix and what we can expect out of Positive Force Sports?
Absolutely. Since we have the word positive in there, I figure positive, it relates to motivation.
Right.
You know, motivation, inspiration to some of the people that just need maybe a few quotes or
Right.
tell them that, maybe talk to them about life, focus, commitment, that kind of thing.
Right.
Motivational
I
coach.
noticed you have a book here by Zig Ziglar.
Yes, by Zig Ziglar. I've been reading this. You got a short version on there as far as it's Life Promises for Leaders.
Cool.
Inspiration Zig Ziglar, and it's one of my devotion that it's very short and sweet, and that's what I want to add on like towards the end of the show.
Right.
Just something for somebody to grow on until the next show.
Right.
So yes, absolutely. Motivation is part of the show. The second part of the show that at least for now, after sports, and then the
Well,
life.
I
promises
think that
for
makes
leaders.
for a more well-rounded individual or a person. I mean, you can get so wrapped up in, and I'm sure that kids or young people or people that are so absorbed in what they're doing that they're missing the rest of the world around them, whether it's sports or music or art or whatever. The more well-rounded your experience is, the better individual you're going to be, and I think a better athlete or a better artist or a better
Absolutely.
musician or
Absolutely.
whatever, because you can draw from those experiences.
Absolutely.
But that's just my opinion.
No, it is because as I listen to a lot of motivational speakers, but
Right.
I just call myself a motivational coach,
Right?
sort of, because it is right. Because some of the kids, they have other distractions. Well, I won't call it distraction because it's fun to play. I guess
Right.
PlayStation, whatever they
Yeah.
call those things.
Yeah.
And
Video games.
Video
Yeah,
games.
right.
But when we were growing up, we just want to be on a football team. That's looking forward to it.
Yeah, I remember spending summers. I was a baseball player.
Oh, I see.
Not that I was a baseball player. I liked to play baseball. And I coached Little League when my sons were growing up. And the only thing I hated about that was I couldn't play.
No.
They got to play,
Did
but
you
I
step
couldn't
up?
play. Pardon me?
Did you step up to the plate?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
You showed up.
yeah, I showed up,
That's
and
part of the
and,
motivation we're
and
talking about.
but it was it's like I loved the game, and when I was young, I mean, that's what you did from dawn to dark. The whole summer you were spent playing baseball, you know. And even if there was only 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of us,
Right.
you know, we still played, and it was, you couldn't wait to get out.
Exactly.
And get that. And we've lost a little bit of that, and we've lost a little bit of the interaction between human beings, and we've distanced ourselves in a lot of areas that kind of, I think, is unfortunate. And that's that it's because we haven't realized the real value of other people.
Absolutely.
And the
yeah.
experience of, and you've traveled the world, right? You've been to
traveled a
different
little bit.
places.
Yes, I've traveled a little bit.
And you get that experience of meeting people from different cultures and learning different things about, to me, that's one of the most valuable things we can do, traveling. And if you could take kids when they're 12, 13, 14, 15 years old and take them to different places throughout the world and let them see, hey, we're all the same. You know, we all want the same thing for our families. We all want to love each other. We all want to try to get along. We all want the best for our families and our kids growing up. We want better for them than we had. And I think that you know, and that's what I love about sports. And I'm really pleased to see the last few years more women in sports. Because my theory was, growing up, only boys played sports when I was growing up. So when you get into the corporate world or the business world, or you're working for a living, you already have that knowledge and that experience that you can do more as a team than you can as an individual. You've learned to work together and to work, and women didn't have that real opportunity to experience that team building. So I'm happy to see that they now are getting that experience.
Right. No, absolutely. I agree with you on that one, John. So yeah, and you know, the only difference, you know, like you say, traveling the world and the kids get to see other part of the world. It's just, I think there's so many options.
Even
now.
different neighborhoods.
So many options.
I mean,
now.
one
That's
school
why they
playing
work.
another school.
Exactly.
That's you know, you get that. You know, yeah, we're gonna kick your butt, but we're still buddies.
Exactly.
You know.
Yes.
I was in the Marine Corps, and we had a relationship. The Marine Corps has a relationship with the Navy that I think is unique among the military services, because the Marine Corps and the Navy's always fighting with each other, but anybody from the outside comes in, will kick your ass.
That's right.
You know,
yes.
and so you have that. Yeah, you know, we'll get into a big fist fight and then put your arm around each other and go to the club and have a beer or something. But,
Right.
you know,
So that's
I think.
what is missing.
Yeah.
That's what's missing.
Yeah.
You know, not only that, for as far as, you know, we mentioned military, we mentioned team aspects,
Right.
But that we related, you know, to the younger generations. And I think the reason why, because it's so easy to say, I don't want to play football, and that's another challenge that come to mind. I don't want to play sports because I can just do this.
Right.
And nowadays they have all those options. We didn't have too many options like that as far as sports. We just go outside, kick, you know, something, and that's fun. Go to the park and, you know, Sandlot, you know, but. You know, I really think, you know, that's another challenge for getting, because I think now high schools, they don't get too many players to play, you know, the sports that's available, because they can easily say, well, no, that's not for me, and they easily go and play the games or whatever other options they have.
Yeah.
There's too many options to choose from, you know, so.
Well, and it does take a commitment, so.
Yes, it does take a commitment.
Right.
And, you know, and even back then, they still have coaches like, you know, ourselves that will still help the community, help people, because without coaches and, you know, and leaders and mentors, you know, I think they would just go do whatever they want. That's why there's so many kids out there that, you know, don't get the opportunity to play. Some of them because maybe the parents are working. Some of them because they just.
Well, and that's it. We do have a lot of families, and especially here in Las Vegas, because Las Vegas is basically a very transient town, and you know, people will be here for a year, a couple of years, and then they're gone. And that's got to be tough on the kids. It's got to be tough on the schools. It's got to be tough on everybody, and not knowing whether or not you. What? Yeah, we're still going. Good Lord, man! What do you want now?
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the David Gleason, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't know you were actually, you know.
Yes, we are actually doing it.
Putting me on the spot, but hey, you know, we'll do what we can do and leave the other stuff alone.
So which one's Stan Laurel and which one is Oliver?
Well, I'm the skinny one, so.
That camera sure can make. Oh.
No, that's the Three Stooges.
Oh, is this down Three Stooges?
Right, you know, that's.
Now we have the Three Stooges.
Charlie!
How about?
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
That's right.
Listen, wise guy.
Wow.
Is this really what we're doing for this show?
I
we're
really
live? I thought we had a
apologize for
commercial.
letting this get
Yes.
out of hand. But you know what? Let me tell you what it reminds me of. If you've ever seen Jonathan Winters and Robin Williams together,
I have.
and I saw an interview that they were doing with Jonathan Winters. This was 132 years ago. They were interviewing Jonathan Winters at his house. About 5, maybe 10 minutes into the interview, and the doorbell rings. And, you know, about a minute later, Robin Williams walks in and sits down on the sofa.
Love them.
And about within 2 or 3 minutes, they are going to town. Jonathan Winters, Robin Williams, going back and
Nothing
forth.
like it. Best
And,
ever.
Yes, yes.
and the interviewer is just kind of sitting there, and he finally just goes
Yeah.
and just sat back, and for the next
Watch
20
the
minutes,
show. Just watch
and
the
it
show with those guys.
was incredible. So
They were the best.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I grew up with Jonathan Winters. I mean, I listening to his records when I was a kid and all that stuff,
I'm kinda
and
strange,
Granny
I actually
Frickert and
grew up with that too. The general.
Yeah.
The lieutenant.
yep,
Yeah, he was the best.
him and
Good morning, Vietnam.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
I hated that guy
Oh, right.
for about
sure.
the first month or so.
Oh.
And when he
So
first,
you
when
heard
he was,
that guy in Vietnam.
I heard that guy on Vietnam.
wow.
Tonauer, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
The first month that he was on Armed Forces Radio, and when we were in the
Wow.
hut area and could hear it, and we heard that, and it was just like, you know, boots and stuff
I
was
hate that
thrown at
guy.
the-
What's that guy
you know,
doing? What does he think?
But after about maybe 3 or 4 weeks,
Yeah.
and then you realized.
What did you think of the movie? What did you think the portrayal of that
I
situation?
thought it was excellent.
Oh, really?
I really did, because I thought, as from my perspective, having been there and gone through that shit,
Yeah.
I thought it was extremely realistic
It was.
from how he was portrayed and everything that was going on at
Right.
the time.
Right.
And so
He really flipped the system over, huh?
oh man, it was, and you know, you just knew that he was giving everybody a heart attack, you know, and you know, if you've been in the military, and I was
Military.
a little
my
bit,
dad.
That's right. We
Yeah,
talked
yeah. In
Um,
Vietnam. Yeah.
in Vietnam.
I was when I got back from Vietnam, and I was stationed at El Toro, which is in Southern California, Orange County, and I was in the air wing. So anything that goes bang on an airplane, we built bombs, napalm, all that crap. We
Right.
put them on the planes, dropped them in missiles and all that stuff. So when I got back to the States, I had maybe a year and a half left to do, and I was pretty cocky.
No.
And my
John
my
was,
my
John
OIC,
was-
the officer in charge was Captain Terry, or I'm sorry, Captain France, and he was just like right out of OCS.
Uh-huh.
Really,
Officers
didn't
Cadet
know
School
anything.
for those people
and
who are not
and
the-
it was like
Right.
Thank you.
hated
Yeah,
that guy
yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah.
because he could tell that I had no
That's
respect
cool.
for the guy whatsoever.
He just
Blah,
got out
blah,
of
blah.
school, man. Yeah.
I got
Wow.
into some trouble because of some herbs that I was
You
experimenting
got into
with.
trouble,
in trouble,
John?
yeah.
That's really
And,
hard to believe.
So we had to go before the colonel, and I had office hours, which is a mild court martial. You know what office hours are, right? No. Okay. So there's different levels of court martials.
That's a new
Office
one for
hours
me.
is the lowest. You go before your commanding officer, and he slaps you upside the head or whatever.
Right.
So had to do that.
For an hour? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Whack. Whack. That's a long time.
Both sides. So
That happened to me as a child.
the colonel
Okay,
the
yeah.
colonel says, I had almost perfect proficiency and conduct marks up to that point. And so the colonel says, well, Stiles, it's obvious that you just kind of got in with a bad crowd. And I said, yes, sir, you're right. And he said, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a suspended bust. In other words, they were going to bust you in rank, but it's suspended like a suspended sentence for 30 days. You have to go to these drug lectures, so, make sure that you learn about this.
You had to be politically correct there for 30 days.
And you have to, do some other stuff that like community service type stuff for 30 days. And the cool thing about the drug classes was the drug class was at 12 noon every day. Every Tuesday. So every Tuesday I would get off work and would have to go to these classes that was an hour long, and then the rest of the day I was off.
You're off.
Yeah.
You like that?
Wow.
That's
So-
light duty.
So,
For 30 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my OIC, Captain France, had a cow when the colonel said that's what my punishment was. And he goes, sir, I disagree. I think this man should be in Leavenworth and blah, 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 blah. And was going on and on and on. And the colonel finally said, well, Captain, that's why I'm the colonel and you're the captain.
Nice.
3 weeks later, Captain France got his orders to Vietnam.
Wow.
And we got Captain Terry in, who had just come back from Vietnam. And I had just finished up my suspended bust and was back on good terms. And Captain Terry made me NCOIC, which means NCO in charge for the day. So what that meant was I had to be on duty 24 hours straight, and then I had 48 hours off.
Right.
So,
Nice.
and that was just you man the, in case any aircraft comes in with hung ordnance or stuff like that, you would have to go out and take care of it and blah, blah, blah. So for the last almost a year that I was in the Marine Corps, I worked one day and was off two. Worked one day and was off two. And because Captain Terry knew where I'd been, knew what I'd done, knew what my record was. In other words, he knew what we'd been through.
Right.
And you can't
Not
explain.
fresh out of school.
Yeah. And so
gotcha.
that was and that's how I got into coaching. No.
Wow. I was going to say, Charles, what would you do with a guy like that? I mean, positive force. How are you
Yes,
going to?
that's-
I don't know if John's even workable at this point. But yeah, how would you? Well, I mean, there's this guy going through some troubles there. How do you handle youth that are kind of out there, kind of hard to difficult?
And you're
to
right,
deal
because
with?
I was 19 years old.
There you go. There you go.
That's
No, wait,
pretty
I'm
young.
sorry. No. I was
Yeah.
20 at the time.
20?
Yeah, I was 20 by that time. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause,
Still young enough in that
I
no
turned-
longer a
I turned-
teenager.
I turned 19. No, I was almost 21. I turned 19
Oh, wow.
on the ship going down from Japan to Vietnam. I turned 19.
Wow. Well, didn't you tell me you had like a system of push-ups or something for people who had language issues? And
Yes, I sure did.
Now, how many push-ups would John
10.
have to do?
Oh,
Yeah,
whoa.
thousands.
Yes,
Thousands.
24 on and
Yeah.
48 off.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Consistently for 24 hours.
Yeah. I started to do them, and then it just.
But the
I
thing
didn't-
is
Me
that
too, I started.
Yeah,
the
look
thing is that it did teach me a lot.
Uh-huh.
And I would not want to go through that experience again, but it was a valuable experience.
Sure.
And at 20 years old,
Wow.
Oh,
you know,
man.
how much do you know?
Exactly.
When you did the 30 days, is that at 20 years old or were you at 19 when you did that 30 days?
I was
Did-
almost 21.
Was that the turning point pretty much in military?
Did
for
you have a?
No, I'll tell you what the turning point was,
Uh-huh.
and this was just a few months before I was got out. I met my wife, my ex-wife now, and I was stationed TDY temporary duty for a week in Yuma, Arizona, with her cousin. I was stationed with him. Came back to the States. We decided we were gonna all get together and get an apartment off the base, so we could have a party place on the
Sure.
weekends and stuff.
Right.
And my ex-wife's parents were the managers. Was her cousin's aunt and uncle.
Ah.
So that's how I met my ex-wife. The first time I ever saw her, I knew I was going to marry her.
That was it, huh?
It wasn't that I immediately fell in
That was
love or
it.
anything like that. I
Did
got
you
this.
catch her while she was running away? Was it? Or how did you?
She was 16.
Oh, okay.
She
And-
was
and
running
so-
Yeah, she was running away.
And so I'm telling myself, all this time I'm telling myself, you can't have anything to do
Do
with
with
this.
that, yeah.
You
Talking
need
about
to stay
Leavenworth.
away.
Yes.
I don't care. And
Yeah.
it's
That's not
just we kept getting thrown together. Circumstances, life, God just kept putting us together.
Interesting.
Wow.
And so I decided, you know what?
Wow.
This is what I'm supposed to do.
Yes.
So I asked her to marry me. She said yes. I asked her parents. And I know that the only reason her parents let us get married is they thought she was pregnant.
Oh, really?
I'm convinced of that.
Wow.
So
Was she pregnant?
no,
Oh.
our first son was born the day before our second anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So they kept expecting her to show, and they kept expecting her to show. But I think that that's what did it for me is I kind of like, holy shit, I have to grow up now.
Wow.
You know, it's like, okay, I'm a grown up now.
Yeah.
You know, been to the war.
Right,
you know,
you've been in the military already,
yeah.
so this is like,
Right, and
You know.
and you know, and I got married just a few months before I got out, so I had to go get a job and all that stuff, and so I think that's what made me grow
Maturity
up. Yeah,
yeah.
time.
right.
Pete,
I'm
you
still
grow up?
working on that. I didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
When
listen,
you
I may
still-
be getting
they
older,
were still
but I
working.
refuse to grow
Right,
up.
right.
I think so. I mean, are we still?
No,
So,
no,
so
yeah.
I got to ask
Yeah.
you this, Charlie: is
Yeah.
this what we can expect on your sports show?
if that's if
Push-ups now.
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah. Go, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
But I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, that
Yeah.
I like
This is
what you've
great.
been saying. I think that you're heading the right direction. I think that you're
Absolutely.
going to have a winner here.
Positive force.
Yeah,
Positive force, absolutely.
Boom.
David, positive force.
Hey,
I like that.
Absolutely.
So we're actually running out of time, and
we are.
We are.
I
No.
yeah, we are.
Okay. All right.
Because I own the station, and I say when we run out of time.
Positive force, Las Vegas. Nevada. That's great.
He's
Well,
right
John,
about
But
that.
Thank you.
Charlie, thank
you for the opportunity. You know, so we're
Listen,
gonna,
we're
it's all about team,
we're
and,
really jazzed about having you as part of the family. I know that there's so much more that you're going to be doing than we really got a chance to talk about because we've talked about it before. I think you're going to be an inspiration to a lot of people. I'm really looking forward to that because that's what we're trying to do here. You know, I make a lot of jokes and I'm a smart ass a lot of times, but I'm serious about the commitment that we're making to our community. I think that's one of the reasons that I like Dave. I think we think along the same lines. We disagree on a lot of stuff, but we agree on a lot of other stuff. And,
Yes, we
and
do.
that's what makes us strong.
Yeah.
Is the ability to have those differences of opinion, but still work towards the common goal.
And you know, at the end of the day, when you get done with discussing, they really aren't that far apart when you're trying to do the right thing for everybody.
And that's it.
Yeah.
As long as you're
So-
trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I get to decide what the right thing is.
He owns the station. That's right.
But
That's right.
seriously.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it too.
Yes, thank
awesome.
you. Thank
I
you,
can
David.
vouch for that guy.
Appreciate it. Yes.
I don't know if you want my vouch, but yeah, it's gonna be a great show.
We'll cut that part out.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you again. I appreciate the support that we get here at Doing It with Styles and WWDBTV. Just, you know, if you got good things to say, bad things to say, you know how to get a hold of us. And like I always say, if you're going to do it with Styles.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right.
Nice work, John.